So this one's all about catching your first really big break and then completely blowing it. So this is the deal, is about a year into my business, I'd gotten to know a man named Don Cassidy, and Don had worked in the financial publishing industry. He had lots and lots of connections, and I'd gotten to know Don, taken him out to lunch several times. He got to see my work. He liked what I was doing. He liked this whole idea of the internet happening. So he hooked me up, since he had all these connections, he hooked me up with an interview for the biggest radio station in Denver. And it was going to be during drive time, like 7:30 in the morning. So huge audience, biggest radio station there was in Denver. I was completely excited about this, totally jacked up. They said, we can do this on the phone or you can come down to the studio. I'm like, I'm coming into the studio. This is going to be great. So I got up at 5 in the morning, drove down there, got there an hour ahead of time. They'd asked me to put together some questions. So I put together, various questions, and they wanted to ask me about something I published about comparing the market to like some of the market crashes in the past. And so I put together a series of 4 or 5 or 6 questions, because it was only going to be like maybe a 3-minute spot, and for them to ask me, and then it'd be a great interview and everything. So I just remember walking around in that radio station, and everyone, like the DJ, kept walking around like clearing his throat, like trying to clear his throat. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to walk around and clear my throat. So clear my throat over and over again, because that's what the radio guys do, right? So then we got into the sound booth, and boom, the interview starts, and the DJ, I guess announcer or whatever they call it. I don't know if they call them DJs or not. It was a news station. So he looks at my script of these questions. He looks at it and then he just tosses it aside and he says, "So Jeff, why do you think the market's going to crash?" And the thing is I didn't think the market was going to crash. I thought completely the opposite. But he's like, "So Jeff, why do you think the market's going to crash?" And I just went blank. I was like, well, there's the market, the and it was just dead air. 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and I completely froze. And I'm just like, it's going through my head. There's thousands and thousands of people driving down the highway on their way to work, and they're hearing nothing but dead air. And I don't know much about radio, but I do know that dead air is like the worst thing in the world. And this is literally like a 10 or 15 seconds, complete dead air. And then finally he asked me another question, and then I think he grabbed the script and asked me a question off of that. And I finally, eventually got a few words out. But it was the most embarrassing, humiliating thing ever. And I just, 3 minutes felt like 3 hours. And I walked out of that booth, and my friend Don Cassidy he was there, and he'd been watching, and he sort of patted me on the back and said, "That's okay." But I just, even like right now, my whole body is I'm just all hot and flushed and flustered thinking about that, because it felt horrible. It absolutely felt horrible. Here I was on this huge stage, and I completely choked. But here's the thing. Now we are here, 18, 19 years later. Whoever listened to that interview, they probably didn't even really notice it. And if they did notice it and thought I wasn't that great, well, they probably didn't click through to my website. The only people that really probably thought I was a complete loser was the people at the radio station. They never had, surprisingly enough, they never asked me to come back for another interview. But the reality is, I just moved on. And I did have I had this energy about it. I was scared to do an interview. I was scared to do radio for another year or two before I worked my way through that. But the reality is, it just didn't matter. It just didn't matter. And there's so many people I know that would like to be in this business or are in this business or are held back by fear of failure. Especially if you're just starting out. The reality is, you put that first video out, probably your mom and 4 of your friends are going to watch it, and that's it. Or maybe your friends won't even watch it because you won't tell them about it, but almost no one's going to see that first video. No one's going to see that first blog post. No one's going to see that first email. When you're starting out, you're on a small stage. And even, if you're on a bigger stage, like right now, I put out a video, thousands and thousands and thousands of people are going to watch it. But if I screw up, I screw up. Then I've got another story to tell the next time around. Just like I'm telling you this story of screwing up on the radio. You just got to get started. People are going to forgive you. You're going to make mistakes. The reality is we've got these brains that were wired for us to be on the Serengeti and to not get hunted down by saber-toothed tigers. You know, we've got this amygdala or something like that. Look at that, I'm screwing up right there. That little piece of our brain, amygdala, I think it is, that is basically, it governs that fight or flight response. And that's designed, I mean, there's a reason for us to feel fear. Because in the past, and even sometimes today, it serves us. But you know, when it comes to something like publishing, you just don't have to be fearful. You just put it out there. It either works or it doesn't work. If it works, you do more of it. If it doesn't work, then you change or you apologize. It just doesn't matter. So I'm Jeff Walker. I'm sharing what I've learned, some of the trials and tribulations and some of the horror stories from my 20 years in online business. I'm putting out a video a day for the 30 days. Go check all of them out. Scroll down wherever you're at. If you're on my blog at jeffwalker.com or on Facebook or YouTube, scroll down, leave a comment. If you think this could be useful for someone, if you think that someone's being held back by their fear, then go ahead and share it with them, and let's go get them this week.